Survival of the fittest. Everyone thinks they know what this means. Strongest wins, right? Wrong. Fittest actually means most adaptable to your environment. While some people stay rigid and fight reality head-on, others flow around obstacles and thrive. AKA the overused but not less wise quote of Bruce Lee: "Be like water, my friend."
Unbound mind. Say hello to adaptive thinking.
Here are two groups of people who've mastered something most of us terrible at. Improvisational comedians get thrown a random word, say cheese, and within seconds they pivot their storylines on the fly to build an entire world around it. No script, no safety net, just pure adaptation in real time. Elite chess players spend years memorizing openings, then watch their opponent make an expected move and throw their entire playbook out of the window. The best ones don't panic. They constantly reevaluate strategies. What these people have figured out is adaptive thinking. The ability to adjust your thoughts, strategies, and responses when reality doesn't match your expectations. It's not just about surviving change. It's about using change as rocket fuel while everyone else is still trying to figure out where they put their map. Most people think it's optional. Well, it is not.
The game time.
Here is the quick self-assessment. I'll give you 6 core characteristics of expert adaptive thinkers. Count on your fingers how many you are genuinely proud of, and be honest, nobody's watching. So you change your mind when you get better information. You adjust your approach when it's not working. You get excited about learning things that prove you wrong. You bounce back from setbacks without losing momentum. You are comfortable not having all the answers right away. You actively seek out people who disagree with you. Care to share your score in the comments?
When this shows up.
This isn't some business buzzword. This pattern shows up everywhere in your life, and usually when you're least prepared for it.
Daily life.
Your perfectly planned morning routine gets obliterated because your kid is sick, your car won't start, and your backup plan just became your backup plan's backup plan. Adaptive thinkers roll with it. Everyone else spends the day pissed off at reality for not cooperating.
Relationships.
Your partner suddenly wants to talk about feelings when you're ready to watch Netflix. Adaptive thinking means adjusting your plans, instead of wondering why they can't just watch the show and process emotions like a normal person.
Finances.
The economy tanks, inflation hits, your investment strategy that worked for 5 years suddenly looks like it was designed by a drunk toddler. Do you adapt or do you double down and pray?
Business.
Companies that can't adapt don't just struggle. They become case studies in business school textbooks.
Strategic pivots.
Remember when everyone suddenly needed to work from home? Some businesses adapted overnight. Others are still figuring out how Zoom works.
Customer needs.
The market tells you exactly what they want, but you are too busy being consistent with your truth to listen.
Leadership during crisis.
Adaptive leaders assess, adjust, and move forward. Non-adaptive leaders call more meetings to discuss why their 5-year plan isn't working in year 1.
Problem solving.
Design thinking, that empathy, experimentation, iteration cycle. It's just adaptive thinking with fancy marketing. It works because it assumes your first idea probably sucks, and your second one might too. Study shows that higher adaptability correlates with better performance, more creativity, and general not being miserable at work thing. Shocking, isn't it?
The hidden costs.
Here is what happens when you refuse to adapt, and why most people are slowly suffocating without realizing it.
Business death spiral.
You see, becoming obsolete isn't dramatic. It's actually gradual. You wake up one day and realize your entire industry moved while you were perfecting last decade's innovation.
Increased costs and inefficiency.
You are still doing things the way we've always done them, while burning money on processes that made sense when people still used fax machines.
Talent drain.
Your best people leave because working for you feels like career suicide. They can see the writing on the wall, even if you've convinced yourself it's just decorative wallpaper.
Financial decline.
Revenue drops, costs increase, the business struggles, then suffers, then becomes stuck, then eventually sinks. Rest in peace.
Personal suffering. Chronic stress and anxiety.
When you can't adapt, every change feels like a threat instead of information. You are basically giving yourself panic attacks because the world refuses to stay the same for your convenience.
Emotional struggle.
You waste enormous amount of energy resisting inevitable changes instead of channeling that energy into actually dealing with them. It's like trying to argue with gravity. Give it a go.
Feeling stuck.
Your comfort zone becomes a prison. You know you need to change, but somehow you've convinced yourself that consistency is the virtue, instead of recognizing it as cowardice.
Burnout and exhaustion.
Instead of adapting, you double down on actions that stopped working a month ago. It's like running on a treadmill that's on fire, lots of effort, zero progress, maximum damage.
Limited learning.
You develop what psychologists call fixed mindset. The belief that you are who you are and change is either impossible or somehow beneath you. The invisible opportunity cost? Well, while you are busy being consistent, adaptive thinkers are learning new skills, building better relationships, and creating opportunities you can't even see because you're too focused on protecting what you've already got.
How we resist it.
So, even though it's so beneficial, well, modesty aside, like pretty much every concept introduced on this channel, why doesn't it come easy? Here is what's actually stopping you. Cognitive biases make you cherry-pick information that confirms what you already believe, while ignoring everything that suggests you might be wrong. Fear of uncertainty keeps you clinging to bad situations because at least they are predictable. You'd rather suffer consistently than risk the possibility of something better. Loss aversion tricks you into focusing on what you might lose by changing instead of what you are definitely losing by staying the same. It's the sunk cost fallacies, evil twin. Emotional attachment to the status quo is when we start believing in the power of our emotions. Never mind that they come from irrational thinking. When we invest in existing actions, beliefs, or routines, with time, it only makes it even more difficult to challenge them. This isn't just sunk cost thinking. You are not trying to recover investment. You are defending routines and beliefs because they've become part of your comfort zone, even when logic says they aren't working anymore. Need for control means admitting you need to adapt feels like admitting you don't know what you're doing. Well, none of us know what we're doing half the time, and that's exactly why we need to adapt. To become adaptable and flexible, for that matter, you must get rid of the way you define yourself. But most people don't even know that curious thing that we don't even know exists may actually be rewritten.
Screw the narrative.
But we don't know much about psychology, and most of us, truth be told, don't give a shit. So instead of understanding the rationale, they come up with a dozen of comfortable lies they tell themselves about why they can't develop adaptive thinking. Besides, there's no such thing as can't. There is don't want to. So comfortable lies turn into excuses.
It's only for creative people.
Bullshit. Adaptive thinking is problem solving, or more precisely, surviving. And unless you've somehow achieved a problem-free life, you need this skill.
I'm not indecisive, I have conviction.
Confusing stubbornness with strength is like confusing a brick wall with architecture. One builds things, the other just gets in the way.
I am not an impulsive person.
Neither am I. This is how I know that impulsivity and adaptability have nothing in common. It's about being responsive, not knee-jerk reactive.
It's the same as being flexible.
Well, not quite, but even this isn't the point. As typically there are as many flexible people as adaptable ones, basically not that many. Why? Because most of us cling to control, aka rigidity. The complete opposite. Control comes naturally, adaptability and flexibility don't.
That's just who I am.
No, this is your self-concept. This is what you created in your mind and decided to take it as gospel truth.
I tried to adapt before and it didn't work.
So you are using past failures as evidence that future attempts will fail. That's not wisdom. That's just expensive pessimism. Besides, how do you know?
My industry doesn't require adaptation.
Oh, really? Name one industry that hasn't changed in the past 5 years. I'll wait. Actually, don't bother. We both know you can't.
I prefer predictability and structure.
Translation: you prefer the illusion of control over the reality of effectiveness, right? How is that working out for you when life decides to ignore your preferences? And here is the real bullshit detector question. Are you protecting legitimate concerns about adaptation, or are you just really comfortable with being uncomfortable in familiar ways?
The mirror test.
Alrighty. Time for some uncomfortable honesty. Please, don't just consume this information. Actually, think about it. Where in your life are you still using approaches that stopped working months ago? Maybe your morning routine, your communication style, your approach to problems at work. What would you do differently if you weren't emotionally attached to how you've always done things? And please, just strip away the "this is how I am" narrative. That's not true. When was the last time you changed your mind about something important based on new information? If you can't remember, that's probably not because you've been right about everything, right? What problems keep recurring in your life? And if the same issues keep showing up, your solution probably needs an update. Who around you is successfully adapting to things you are still struggling with? What are they doing that you aren't? Stop looking for permission to stay the same and start questioning why you're invested so much in not changing. Stop collecting reasons why adaptation doesn't apply to you, and start collecting evidence of where your current approach is failing, because the world's biggest bullshit detector is reality itself, and you know it.